raised an interesting point there, and Huda used the phrase diversity in the newsroom. And clearly there's been a great deal of attention paid to diversifying newsrooms in terms of gender mix and multicultural mix, but perhaps less emphasis on getting a range of faith-based people in the newsroom. So for Huda and Barney, what's it like? What are the challenges of being a journalist of faith in the job that you had to do?
No different from any other journalist in my view. Again, Michael Gwynne at the editor said to me, is it a problem you being a Christian and covering religion? And I said, is it a problem for somebody covering politics to be a Labour voter? We all have attitudes and so forth. What counts is how well you do the job, how much you distance your own particular views from objective news coverage. Of course, I mean, I speak as a member of the majority, and Huda and Diana will have very different points of view. But I'd just like to say that when I was before the Age moved from Spencer Street to Commons, I had a little pod that I shared with two Muslims, Farah Farouk and David Cook, both very fine and respected journalists, neither particularly religious, but they certainly identified as Muslim, and it was no handicap for them at all, and in fact they were both quite useful to me in learning how to cover Islamic stories.
Yeah, going on from the handicap, what you just said there, it's definitely not a handicap to have religion, but I feel like a lot of people see it that way. In my opinion, I've struggled with being a Muslim and being out there, being able to say that I'm just as good as everybody else, and people not judging that I'm going to walk in with a set of beliefs that's going to influence my work in some kind of way. That's what I have faced, and I've had to hide it and play it down at times. People have been very gracious. People have also been quite, not so gracious. I've had really lovely experiences in the newsroom and some not so nice experiences, some really bigoted experiences. So, and as a woman and someone who is, comes from a migrant, well, my parents are migrants, I feel like it has been quite difficult to kind of show that we're doing our jobs. We do understand, Muslims do understand that we live in a secular country and that there is that division, but there is no issue with that most of the time, I would say. I think people just have to be more open to the idea of people, Muslims, being able to show up, do a job in the media or in politics, and do a good job at that.
Bear with me for a moment, Dana. I just want to explore another element of that. So, how is the conversation with the interview process and the relationship process with when you're interviewing someone from your own faith?
I found it very strange to do because it appears, I think the audience or readers may assume that there's some kind of alliance. Work is work at the end of the day, in my opinion, but I have got that kind of feeling that she'll go easy on them because they're Muslim, or she'll be sweeter to them because they're Muslim, or whatever. But in fact, it's the opposite. Some Muslims in the media have told me that they go down harder on other Muslims when they're interviewing because they need to prove a point, which is also very unfair because they're not getting that Muslim interviewee won't be getting the best shot because the interviewer has to prove that they're not being sympathetic in any way, shape or form.
Yes, I too used to find that Christians might expect a softer ride. They would say, it's your job, you're a Christian, it's your job to promote the gospel. And I deny that utterly. I thought my responsibility was to be the best journalist I could, and if that wasn't very good, well, so be it. But I was certainly not a propagandist for anybody or any group, exactly as Huda is not a propagandist for her faith. And people will accept that eventually. I don't know if it's just that people feel entitled or that they feel an identity that you don't have, but that can certainly be a problem. But I think I can say that I did not give in to that.